and they certainly mean business. But of course, Bradford, 4th times Challenge Cup winners with a tremendous pedigree in the game. The big surprise in the Broncos team is the absence of prolific point scorer Greg Barwick. He picked up 20 points in the last cup round, but his place in the centres goes to David Krause.
What does it say?
Bulls coach Matthew Elliott gave late fitness tests this morning to a couple of his players. Stuart Spruce passed the test and takes his place at full-back, but Bernard Dwyer's calf strain is still giving problems, and Tahi Raihana comes in at prop forward. Former Cambridge University League student Adrian Spencer wins a place on the Broncos bench, and no shortage of talent there in the Bulls substitutes, 2 internationals in Paul Cook and Paul Medley. The pitch really is in very, very heavy condition, Steve, isn't it?
It is, especially down the outside of the pitch there. The middle is a little bit heavier, but there's not as much sand on the middle as there is on the outside.
Well, the players just coming out into the arena. The Bradford side, it's 48 years since they last won the trophy at Wembley. Runners-up last year, and a great determination amongst everyone up there at Odsall to make it a win this season. They've been out training on the pitch for 5 or 10 minutes, just getting accustomed to the heavy grounds. And Robbie Paul, well, he's accustomed to this ground, having spent that winter stint with the Harlequins. The London Broncos, led out there by Terry Matheson and Tulson Tollett. Tollett enjoyed a very good spell. There he is, the lad with the blonde hair. Very good spell in New Zealand this last winter with the Great Britain tourists. The stands here quite full. And this Brisbane Broncos side really looking to make a mark on London this year. Captain there, Terry Matheson, very experienced forward, once scored 156 points in a season for the Brisbane Broncos, now leading the charge here up front from loose forward for the Londoners. A shrewd thinking player. Robbie Paul, back to the Harlequins, and he tells me he never lost a match here when he was in the starting lineup, but rugby league is his game, and I think he's hoping to prove that this afternoon. David Campbell refereed the Challenge Cup in '94 between Wigan and Leeds, one of the fastest referees in the game, a former wingman. He should have no problems, I think, keeping up with the players on this pitch. Just going through the formalities, the 2 touch judges, Jim Molyneux and Phil Brooks, making up the refereeing team. Mr. Campbell just having a word there, and it looks as if Bradford will play with a slight wind advantage. The wind really blowing from right to left, blustery, and a good roar accompanies the kick-off. The Challenge Cup final will be in London on May the 3rd, but will London be there? We'll know shortly. The Broncos versus the Bulls from the Stoop Memorial Ground. The 5th round of the Silk Cut Challenge Cup, and I think, Joe, a real 5th round in prospect.
It's going to be a cracker, I'm sure, Ray. It's got all the ingredients. We had a fantastic game 2 weeks ago between St Helens and Wigan. St Helens progressing through to this round, but here Bradford have got a stiff opposition in the form of London Broncos.
The Broncos never appeared at Wembley. The Bulls, runners-up last season. And Stuart Spruce, who's had a chest infection this week, number 28 at fullback, picks up the ball there for the Bulls. These 2 packs will be testing each other out. Just keeping that ball on the short side. Sonny Nicol, he's got plenty of pace as this former St Helens and Great Britain player. Again, keeping down that right-hand side. Big, powerful 3-quarter line. Number 3 there, Graham Bradley, one of 3 16-stone men in the Bradford 3-quarter line. Good ball from Glenn Tomlinson. Raihana has the ball. Coy gets it away. Not the best of passes there, Steve.
No, he pushed that pass under a bit of pressure there, but it was great play from Glenn Tomlinson. Made it a half a pass, had support play. You'll see here, here's Raihana now. It wasn't on, he should have just took the ball, quick play the ball, and Bradford could have went on from there.
So the Broncos first touch of the ball, and again using the forwards. A lot of work expected from these two sixes up front. Rosalind in, a mistake there at the play of the ball. Not often you see that. Joe, a hint of nerves about in both teams.
Possibly, yes. Both teams settling in this early period of the game. Just noticing the Bradford team, though, very reminiscent of the nickname, the Bulls. They really are beefed up. They look very, very large, muscular. They've obviously done a lot of training in the off-season.
Well, Matthew Elliott, the Aussie coach, in his first season in charge, has certainly done a lot of work in the off-season. They tell me that they've actually beefed up these Bulls by an average of about £7 a man. Will it prove effective? But it's the rugby, it's the skill that's looking good here as Peacock goes for that line. Tremendous opening burst here by the Bulls. Danny Peacock, a new signing. Still down this left-hand side. McNamara, good pass to Loughlin. Oh, and Paul Loughlin registers the first try there. That was not beef, that was brain. Beautiful pass there from McNamara. He missed out the man. Took the Broncos by surprise, and that long journey down the motorways for the 2,000-3,000 Bradford Bulls fans worthwhile.
It was a quick play. The ball Lowe's went down the left-hand side. The missed pass by McNamara to the big winger Loughlin, who normally plays in the centre. There's the missed pass. No answer to it, and Loughlin was wide open on his own, and an easy try in the corner.
Yeah, you'll have a look here. Bradford hit the short side. They've hit the short side twice on the right side. They come back to the left side, and today you'll see Bradford do that a lot of times, working to the edges of the field and picking the short side to run.
Good 4 points there from Loughlin. And Steve McNamara, who missed the Great Britain tour of New Zealand with a badly cut hand, really determined to have a good season. In fact, he was telling me earlier in the week that having missed the tour, he spent a lot of time in training and he feels in the best condition of his rugby career. Very skillful, crafty, loose forward, and a good goal kicker too. But these are difficult conditions for goal kicking. Very heavy underfoot and a strong, blustery wind, but it is in his favour. No real strike at that. So McNamara will be disappointed with that, but he'll not be disappointed at that pass he gave for the Loughlin try. Bradford Bulls 4, London Broncos 0.
It was a perfect pass from McNamara, missing out Spruce, the fullback who joined up in the line. The London Broncos wingman had to take Spruce out, which left Loughlin wide open on his outside.
Yeah, you'll see that try come from a good break from Danny Peacock. And the London defence was shot to pieces then. They couldn't regroup, and Bradford has scored a good try on the left-hand side.
Well, Loughlin celebrated a century of tries against Hunslet in the previous round, but I must confess, I can't recall him playing on the wing before. But he started off well. Now then, the Broncos need a period now to reassure their supporters. I think they'll take it calmly at first receiver.
I'd just like to mention, if you have a look closely at the Bradford Bulls, their shirts, they're very tightly fitted so that it's harder to grab hold of them. It's harder to make tackles on them compared to the London shirts that are very baggy.
Has that been done deliberately, Steve?
It has been done deliberately. They're taking it more or less off the American football where you've got nothing loose to grab hold of.
Bradford then in possession, but in that 20-metre line. The Broncos keeping a keen eye on Robbie Paul. McDermott, former Marine and professional boxer, no man to tangle with. Tomlinson, again, moving that ball out wide to Bradley. He gets it away to Scales. And when we talk about size, just let's look at this. A wingman, 17 stone 4, John Scales. Again, using that blind side, James Lowe's coming away from the play of the ball. The Broncos gaining a lot of ground here. Tomlinson, McNamara, stretching the youngster, Tony Martin. Just a teenager, this young fullback from the academy side here in London. Tollett. The Broncos contained here in their half. Tollett again. London beat the Lancashire Lynx by 48 points to 5 in the previous round, and Bradford a good victory over Hunslet by 62 points to 10. Convincing victories, but this the game that really counts. This is the game where the pressure is on. A tester for Stuart Spruce. Spruce, another one who had a very, very good tour with Great Britain against New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. And we have Richard Duckingfield down there on the pitch. What news, Richard?
Well, it's significant at this stage, Ray, to both benches, the confident and great amount of ground that Bradford are making with their set of tackles. In that last passage of play, they were back into the Broncos half before they kicked, but it was obvious the Broncos were taking a more laboured view about it with their set as well. So it may be significant at this early stage of the game, and Bradford, of course, with the win behind them.
Robbie Paul looking very, very confident there, and already, Steve, we can see the possession there, 62% there with the Bulls.
Yeah, it's been all Bradford Bulls at this stage, and they certainly control the ball and run the ball more direct than London Broncos have at this stage.
Penalty given here to Bradford Bulls. Referee adjudging that the player was pulled out of the play of the ball, not allowed to play it cleanly or quickly.
Yep. Number 7 there, Josh White, interfering at the play of the ball. All the referees have had directive this season to tidy up the play of the ball. The markers must be straight. No one can play the ball unless he's actually standing on his feet, and no one can interfere with the man who is playing the ball. McNamara again. Former Skirlow Amateurs player, had a long spell with Hull before coming to Bradford. Just 22 metres out. Oh, and he misses it again. That's the second miss for McNamara in these early stages. Bradley just been having some treatment, but he looks to be back into the fray.
He's a pretty tough customer. I think he may have broke his nose. They were working on his nose for a long time, but I'm sure Graham Bradley won't be worried by that.
Well, I don't think Matthew Elliott, the Bradford Bulls coach, will either. Ooh, an awkward bounce there for the Bulls. That's a knock-on. Very, very difficult bounce there for the Kiwi Raihana.
You'll have a look here. Here's Raihana. Just doesn't get down to the ground close enough to get that ball under pressure, and he knocks on. A good chance for the London Broncos to attack from halfway.
Tollett trying to put pressure on the Bulls, but the Bulls defence very, very packed in midfield. Out to Martin. Just eased his way into the Broncos side last season. Had some good games. Tony Mestrop from the South Sydney club, number 10. Matteson directing, but again, good tackling there from the Broncos. Donegan in particular.
And no great worries for the Bulls bench about Graham Bradley, who you might have seen having treatment. He's got a rather full nosebleed, which has been treated, but otherwise he's okay. Graham Bradley fit to continue.
Well, the ball there hovering in that wind we talked about. It is swirling here at the stoop. It's very, very blustery, but no try.
First chance really that Bradford have to put the kick sorry, the London have had in the Bradford half, and it nearly paid off there. They had a very good chance of scoring a try.
The Bradford Bulls won both league games down here last season, and I'm sure the Broncos know that Robbie Paul picked up 3 tries in those 2 matches. And Tony Curry, well, he's already on the walkie-talkie down to the bench. 7 tests with Australia. Very experienced coach.
You can see that Bradford at this stage are making far more yardage with the ball than London Broncos. It's simply because Bradford are playing the ball a lot quicker.
Again, using that short right-hand side. Nice grubber kick through there by McNamara. Picked up by Martin.
It's very noticeable to see when Bradford do have the ball that they divide their attack right and left. They have both centres, very, very big, strong centres, and wingmen. And they're very, very confident to take it down what we call the short side, to suck in the defence before throwing a long, long pass out and using the opposite centre.
At this stage, Steve, there doesn't look a lot of pattern to the Broncos' play, does there? There's no one figure dominating in midfield.
Well, the biggest problem they've got, there's a lot of good ball movement, but they're not going forward with the ball. You have to move, you have to go forward with the ball, get the defence on the back foot before you start spreading the ball. They need to make more yards up the middle.
You combine that too with bad, heavy conditions underfoot and a breeze in your face. It's going to be very, very difficult for the London Broncos to make progression down the field.
Certainly Bradford got the better of the elements, but here is London now coming downfield. Again, oh, a tremendous tackle there. Martin looking to pass that ball, but Peacock had him weighed up. The ball's on the attack again. It's Bradley striding in, trying to get the pass away, but that was well clamped there by Peter Gill. Raihanen again, this big Kiwi from the Perth Western Reds team. 15 metres from the Broncos line. Tomlinson to Nickel. Oh, Nickel loses the ball. Groans all around from the Bradford supporters.
We just keep our eye on Stuart Spruce. Twice now in the last couple of minutes he's been down and had attention off the physio. I think he must have taken a knock.
The Broncos having great difficulty getting away. Greg Barwick there, number 20, the substitute.
And the reason for the change in the Broncos side is that Paul Smith has a hamstring injury, so it wasn't a tactical change. Paul Smith off with a hamstring injury, and Greg Barwick, their leading scorer last season, is on.
This is better from the Broncos now. Barwick then, prolific point scorer for the Broncos. And there we see Paul Smith just taking some strapping. Martin. At last the Broncos putting some passes together. Josh White. With a grubber. Loughlin has to turn. A tricky one. Safety first tactics from Paul Loughlin. Nothing wrong with that. No point making a mistake in the Challenge Cup.
No, definitely safety first. That was Paul's idea. Just get rid of the ball. He didn't want to knock on his own line and give the London Broncos a chance to touchdown.
It was a great kick from Josh White there. He made Bradford play at the ball, kept it in the field of play, and Paul Loughlin really never had much choice other than to make the ball dead. And now London, and then London's improved because they're running straighter. They're not running across, they're going forward and running straight.
Martin. Back to Mestrov. London then now really testing this Bradford defence with these charges. Russell Borden, number 24, back to Beasley. White again, good pass to Tollett. Tollett trying to open play out there. Still very, very heavy there in midfield. Matteson, good switch inside to Gill. Oh, Gill gets a good pass away now to Beasley. Oh, the pass was well intended, but it was knocked down. But that was well intended.
The little slip pass inside here from the London Broncos, and it was actually the Bradford player that knocked it ground, Sonny Nittle. So the feed at the scrum will go to London. More chance to put more pressure on.
Good decision there from the referee David Campbell, right on the spot. More pressure on the Bulls. Bulls leading by 4 points to 0. Matteson cuts through from the blind side. Beasley has a go himself, just a metre short. The Bulls stretched out in defence here. Tollett can't get the ball away. Good movement up there by McNamara and Robbie Paul. But still, Broncos on the attack. Good long pass there. Back inside to Mestrov. Well, they're losing ground, or are they? Here's Peter Gill. Very dangerous player is Gill. A man who can get a ball out of seemingly a tackle. White spinning that ball around. Tollett. Borden. On the 5th tackle. Now then, the little kick from White. Oh, it's ricocheted back! Nervous times for the Bulls there. Stuart Spruce not very happy with that. But the Broncos now moving in with a determination. Seem to be settling down now. McNamara, oh, beautiful pass from McNamara. Well, a forward pass. Oh, that would be worth seeing again. But the pass was well intended there by McNamara. Good handling skills.
I'm not sure this was a forward pass. My first reaction was that it was okay. It was round the player. That angle doesn't really give us a clue, but the referee was right on line.
Yeah, it was certainly a line ball, but I was with you, Joe, but after seeing the reverse angle, I certainly think that it probably was a fraction forward, but David Campbell was certainly in good position.
Whatever, it highlighted McNamara's handling skills. Rosalind. 5 years with the Broncos.
It also highlighted the problems that London have. Not only do they have to contain the size of these Bradford forwards, but also the ball skills as well. They can slip the pass as well as bust the tackle.
But it's the Broncos on the attack. It's the Broncos who are now calling the shots here on this Bradford line. The short pass there to Borden. Gets it away. Here again to White. White to Tollett. Tollett out to Barwick. Barwick trying to get round his man. Peacock has him. It's been quite a success, this number 6 for Bradford. A new signing this season, Danny Peacock. On the 5th tackle. To Tollett. Well, it's a high one. It's not picked up. It is now. Back again to Martin. It's still that 5th tackle. It's still anybody's ball. No, it's not, says Mr. Campbell. It's a knock-on. It's a handover. So, the Bulls withstood the period of pressure. Good defence there from Bradford. Obviously, a lot of work gone into that defensive department over the winter. Paul Loughlin helping out from the wing, and so he should do it at 16 stones. I must confess, I don't think I've ever seen two bigger wingmen in all my rugby life than these two, Scales and Loughlin. Martin. White distributing the ball.
Just in the early tackles with London, they appear to get very bunched up. They don't give themselves any chance in attack. They've got too many players in a little area instead of spreading out to get the Bradford defence spread.
And on the bench, Matthew Elliott, the Bulls coach, is feeling a certain amount of anxiety. He's shouting from his place on the bench that Bradford need to steady this down a bit. He's not happy about the performance when they've got the ball, and it's quite clear in the last few minutes that Broncos are just edging their way into this game now.
Well, they've been on the attack here for quite some time now. Again, another testing kick for Spruce. He's behind the line. Well, awkward situation there for Stuart Spruce. The ball swirling in this breeze. Both sets of kickers on both teams making good use of it.
It was a good kick, really, but a little bit too deep. Stuart Spruce, if he'd have caught that on the full, would have had the advantage from a tap out. But instead, with letting the ball bounce and then being tackled over his own line, it's now a drop out for Bradford underneath their own post.
And full praise there to the wingman for Broncos, Mark Maguire. He followed up that ball and he made sure that his side will receive from this dropout. Martin again. To Mestrov. And really one gets the feeling that the Broncos must come away with some points from this period of pressure. 20 minutes gone in this first half. Still Bradford in the lead by 4 points to 0. Martin. Good strong run from Peter Gill. Oh, he's managed to catch the ball. Well, the referee's not happy with that tackle. Keep it low, he says to Bradford.
Yeah, he's got him for a high tackle there. It was high, but it was good play from London. It's about their best attacking performance at this stage of the game.
And it was good refereeing from Mr. Campbell, because despite the high tackle, Joe, he allowed the advantage for some considerable time, didn't he?
Yes, if the try had been scored, it would have stood, but the referee, rightly so, went back to the offence of the tackle.
Greg Barwick then, the substitute. 8 goals against the Lancashire Lynx Club up there at Deepdale in Preston in the 4th round. And as we can see, a consistent kicker for the Broncos. Still problems with this wind, but no problems for Mr. Barwick. Broncos at last with points on the scoreboard, edging nearer. Bradford 4, London 2.
Yeah, the penalty was high. The tackle before that was a chance of a try, but he brought it back for an offence in the previous tackle.
I think Beasley's having a good game, especially on the ball in attack. He's had a strong game, and I think he was one of the players that actually the Bulls thought was going to be a weakness in the Broncos team, but up until this stage he's had a fine game.
Paul Medley, former Great Britain international on the field. That is normal tactics from the Bradford Bulls coach Matthew Elliott. They'll use Medley's running capabilities. But it's Broncos again on the attack, moving it down that left-hand side. A team with a mission. Matterson to Mestrop. This lad, Tony Mestrop, the big former South Sydney prop, coming more and more into this game. Rows of Broncos going around this Stoop Memorial Ground. Tallett might have been better advised to pass though. Well held by Glenn Tomlinson. Matterson again. Prize for a forward pass. Certainly was, according to Mr. Campbell. And a bad mistake there. Takes the pressure off Bradford.
Yeah, this was certainly a forward pass. Terry Matterson knew that as soon as he passed the ball, and once again David Campbell was in good position. Both teams are starting to make some elementary errors here, and the team that settles down, I think Tony Curry said at the beginning, it's a basic game today. The team that makes the least errors will win this.
And that substitution was further evidence of the anxiety now on the Bulls bench. Matthew Elliott, their coach, not happy with the performance so far of Tahir Ihana, who he's taken off, and he sent on Paul Medley, principally with his strength and his terrific experience in the game.
And there he is. And it's Bradford now clawing their way back into the game. Again, still using this short blind side. Peacock looks to try to put a pass out, can't do so. Lowe's to Tomlinson. Tomlinson elects to kick. Sends Maguire back. A difficult kick for the youngster here. He's still behind the line. He can't get away. Oh, good chasing there by Bradford. I think the young teenager felt that he had more room to work in. Not so. Tomlinson's kick, well judged.
That's better play from Bradford. They've finally got the message from the bench just to calm down, to play some positive, straightforward rugby to a good kick chase.
Yeah, it was a great kick. It was a great chase from Bradford. But both the fullback Martin and the winger Maguire, they took forever to get back to that football. They could have had a little bit more urgency. They may have got back into the field of play.
Well, we anticipated this would be a hard, bruising contest on this heavy pitch, and so it's proving to be. An intense forward battle out there.
Once again, you'll see it's changed as it first started. Broncos have had 56% of the territory, and this is the first time that Bradford's actually been in their half for quite a while.
I think one of the things you'll find in this game, as happens in many games, with Bradford scoring so early, they got possibly too confident, started to throw the ball about, thinking they could score on every possession. Instead, it's the London Broncos who've picked up
Well, here they are again with Paul Medley dashing to the line, 5 metres from that line. On the 5th tackle, still using that shot. Oh, good power, he's lost it. He lost it in the tackle there. He lost it going over the line. It'll be no try. James Lowe's there. Grief on his face. See him go, the dummy. As he goes over, it goes down. Now, it doesn't matter whether he lost that ball or whether it was ripped out. It was a 1-to-1 on the tackle. He loses it.
That was an excellent decision by the referee. Right on the spot again. The ball was dropped. It was taken out, but it was one-on-one in the tackle, and that's what matters.
An escape there for the Broncos. Still just the 2 points the difference. 4-2 to Bradford. And the Londoners with an awful lot of work in midfield to get back up to that Bradford line. There is that man, Robbie Beasley from the Illawarra Steelers. The hooker, number 26.
You notice the yardage London have made in this set of 6 tackles they've had so far by running direct. Hard and straight and direct. Now they're back into Bradford half.
Now the kick from Josh White. Picked up by Peacock. And again, 3 good chases from the Broncos. I think one of the aspects of this game has been the good chasing by the 2 teams, following up the kicks. Peacock doing a good job there. East forwards finding it very, very tough there in the middle. Robbie Paul looking for a chink of light, trying to get good pass there from Bradley. Paul again from the acting half-back position. He finds some space. Good pass again. Donegan on this outside to Stuart Spruce. Oh, it's an interception. Well, once again, the pass was well intended, not perfectly executed, and the Broncos come back into the game.
You'll see this. Matthew Ellett will be pulling his hair out here. A great break. They got London on the ropes, and what do? They throw a pass that's not on. Once again, a quick play the ball would have been what Bradford wanted. They probably could have scored straight after that.
You speak as a coach, Steve. Safety first. What about adventure?
Well, adventure's great if it comes off, but as I say, now London's off the hook. That's twice now Bradford should have scored, and they haven't. As a coach, as I said, Matthew Ellett will be pulling his hair out.
It's points on the scoreboard that count. As Spruce turns back again. They're probably kicking a lot to Stuart Spruce. He's had a chest infection all week. Possibly the Broncos think they may be able to get him a little bit out of breath. Scales, the big wingman, like Lachlan, helping out in midfield, giving his forwards a rest. Here's one forward who doesn't need a rest. Brian McDermott, the prop, number 22. Donegan.
Paul Smith on the Broncos bench with a leg injury. Paul, you'll take no further part, I suppose, in the game?
No, not today. I've got a calf strain, and I don't think I'll be able to go on. So.
Though, looking at the way the Broncos have picked up, this is looking quite promising now.
Hopefully, if we can maintain now, it looks like the Bulls are starting to tire a bit because they're a much bigger team than us. So, yeah, if we keep going the way we are and control the ball, we hopefully will come up with a win. Yeah.
So your training's paid off?
I hope so. Yeah, I've done plenty of it.
Thanks, Paul.
Just 10 minutes remaining in this first half. I think possibly we should explain for 1 or 2 viewers that this Challenge Cup, although taking part at the regular time of the season, it is not taking part when these players have had a lot of league games, Stephen. I think that's a relevant point about fitness in the second half.
It is. You're not actually getting match fitness. You're only playing every fortnight, so yeah, it is a little bit hard that you have to do that little bit of extra work off the field.
And certainly on a pitch like this, it will be very heavy to the legs. But these are athletes. And the Broncos, once again in their set of 6, making good ground. Every forward making 5 to 10 metres. Back once again into the Bradford half. Matteson, the man, calling his forwards on there at acting half-back. Number 13 and skipper. That was a charge down. Sonny Nicol. And this is the dangerous period in a game, those minutes just before half-time when people are tiring. We often see a try go in here. Peacock. He'll not be used to these conditions, will Danny Peacock, playing out there in Australia. Penalty there against the Broncos, not allowing the man to get up to play the ball. Bradford wanting a quick play of the ball.
It's a problem area for the London Broncos. They just want to slow Bradford down as much as possible. This time Terry Madison just lying on, using all the time in the world.
I think we saw Russell Borden come in as well there, Joe, and really keep the man down.
Yeah, the penalty was for a flop there. It was Russell Borden coming in third man.
Tomlinson using the dummy with Paul to Bradley. Oh, that's a wild pass. Well play on, said the referee. It looks slightly forward to me, although it may have been knocked by a Broncos player. But it certainly took the Londoners by surprise. It's Bradford charging in there to Bradley. Desperate defence here from the Londoners. Again, Lowe's once more using that short side from the acting half-back position. Bradford moving it out. Namara well held. Held, shouts Mr. Campbell. Get off him, says the referee. Oh, and was Mestrop holding down there? Debatable. Paul, good shot pass to Peacock. He can't get through. It's on the pit tackle. Broncos don't want to concede a try here. McNamara again to Lachlan. Oh, a beautiful pass once again. But he's given a forward pass. He's given a forward pass. I think he had a word with the touch judge, but once again, the intention was there, the skill was there, delicately placed, and Lachlan was in at the corner, but it's a forward.
Yeah, you'll see it's exactly the same play they scored a try. If you'd have thought London had woken up by now, Bradford are just going to work to the short sides and hit that, and they were lucky that they didn't want to concede a try at this stage of the game, London.
And I think good work there between the touch judge Jim Molyneux and David Campbell. So the score remains the same at 4 points to 2.
Yeah, you'll see this. It's a long pass from McNamara again. It was a line ball, it's hard to tell, but as I said, Campbell was in good position and so was the touch judge.
Notice how the touch judge stays there, Steve. He knows instinctively it's a forward pass.
Yeah, they've got to help. I mean, it's a tough game now for referees to watch everything, and if you've got your touch men on the side, they should be helping you out.
Good work there between the two officials, but it's London working their way steadily downfield thanks to that kick from Josh White. Picked up by Spruce. Just over 5 minutes remaining here, the testing time. Both looking to increase those points. Scales going nowhere.
And the Broncos winger Mark Maguire just back on his feet with what's looked like a very painful rib injury. He's had treatment for the physiotherapist, back on his feet now, but his face was certainly contorted in some pain. Mark Maguire of the Broncos.
That was a good tackle there by David Krause on Peacock. Paul Medley, certainly one forward that the Broncos can't let escape. He can run. Lowe's scheming once again, and another good tackle on Peacock. What a battle between these two centres, Krause and Peacock.
Krause, the defence so far has been outstanding. He's making a couple of bone-crunching tackles.
Robbie Paul losing the ball, picked up by Maguire. Difficult conditions here at the stoop for handling. Plenty of rain here in midweek.
They're the things as a coach you don't like. They've just got 6 more tackles awarded to them, Bradford, and lose it on the first. Handling errors. Bradford 6, London Broncos 0.
Well, that sells something, doesn't it?
That seems to be the story of the game. The Bradford have had chances, they've had possession and position to score. In the last minute, a bad pass, a forward pass, or a drop pass has resulted in not scoring.
Matteson, oh, that was well taken by Krause. He's a big, strong centre. He's enjoying himself in the mud, is that lad?
Big pressure! Pressure!
Spruce once again going back. No real pressure on him though, no real chasers. Oh, bit of a wild swing there from Greg Barwick. Play on, says the referee. Robbie Paul hasn't quite escaped yet, but gets a good pass away. Down that far side to Bradley. Here's Sonny Nicholl now then. Can Sonny Nicholl go all the way? Oh, he gets it inside. Bradford are still going. And there is Nicholl. Oh, a tremendous try for the big second row. Those Bradford fans might well leap out of their seats because that was a superb effort. It was handling, it was pace, and it was determination at the end from the big man, Sonny Nicholl. Tremendous support play. Just when the movement looked to be breaking down, he came back again.
On the occasion when the Bradford passes go to hand, this is the result. Bradley and Sonny Nicholl combining strength and power. The inside pass, you'll find once again Sonny Nicholl backing up. He's there to receive the ball off lows, and you can't stop a man of that speed and that size so close to the line.
Yes, it all started back up in the field when Scott Roskell come in from the wing, overcommitted himself in defence, left his man. They made the break on the outside, and that's the third time that Scott Roskell's done that. He's got to make sure that he doesn't come in and overcommit himself and stay on his man out wide.
And Mr. Campbell, we mentioned he was a winger in his playing days. Well, he kept up with the movement, but he thinks he deserves a drink after that.
You mentioned, Ray, that it's a crucial part of the game. The 10 minutes just before half-time, and Bradford are the ones that seized the opportunity. They managed, as I said, to keep hold of the ball this time on the attack and score a try, and a vital try too.
And I think if the Broncos have been listening to us up here, we did warn them about that man, Sonny Nicholl. Steve McNamara then looking for his first success of the afternoon, and he finds it. The Roars greet the kick as it goes over the crossbar. Tremendous support down here from Bradford. 10 points to 2 then for the Bradford Bulls, and a very, very satisfactory opening 40 minutes from them.
Yeah, you'll see here, Graham Bradley's the man on the outside. Inside ball there to Sonny Nicholl. Now, Sonny Nicholl does extra well here. Sees the support, offloads. Good James Lowe's always backs up. Sonny Nicholl doesn't give up. He supports again and scores a try next to the post there. That was a good effort, good team effort from Bradford.
Less than 60 seconds remaining then in this first half. And a very good first half. Solid, sensible rugby, certainly from the Bradford side.
What they need to do now, London, is not panic. They are behind, but I think they've got a bit of a win behind them in the second half. And as their coach is saying, if they feel Bradford may tie up, and with a win behind them they're back, and if they can score next, they can get themselves back into the game.
And there we see the two coats, well, both of them with serious frowns on their faces. They know that there's another 40 minutes remaining. Spruce. And there we see that wind that's blowing, it's blustery. It will be in the Broncos' favour in the second half. Steady play here from Bradford. They know that we're almost to the half-time hooter. But again, Paul launching the wingman down that right-hand side. Scales shrugs him off there. Swats him off like a fly. Paul again. Robbie Paul going into that in half-back position a lot.
Well, he normally does that because he's very quick off the mark, and if the markers don't work, he can make quick yardage from there.
Once again, the forwards trying to make movement down the middle, but a knock-on. from the substitute Simon Knox, but it won't matter. It makes no difference. It's half-time, the half-time hooter goes. And that try from Sonny Little just 4 minutes before the half-time, that has proved the difference. He looks to have a little bit of a limp, but he'll not be too bothered.
Well, Richard Branson, they're not quite part of the Richard Branson empire, the Broncos, but you have a modest investment. Is this business or pleasure?
Well, today's been pleasure, and obviously, hopefully, they'll be very successful one day, and it'll be a successful investment as well. But it's a great family day out. My son's having a good time. Obviously, we'd like them to have been ahead at the moment, but I think they're playing perhaps the favourite now that Wigan are out, and maybe the second half the wind will be going in their direction. Hopefully they'll come romping home.
Well, what are you doing really? Are you just dipping your toe in the water to see what the temperature's like and maybe get involved more in rugby league, or what?
Well, it's a great sport. It's a great family sport, and I think that it will grow and grow. So we think we're getting in on the ground floor. We'd love to learn about things we know little about, and I'm here and learning.
Do you think
it's nice to see the planes going overhead? I'm still waiting for a third one.
See if they're on time. Do you think it can put down deep and permanent roots in London?
Yes, I really think that with determination, I think if the Broncos just happen to win today, I think they could go all the way to Wembley, and they've obviously got a tough second half, so we'll see what happens. But with a little bit of effort, I think the crowds will double over the next year, and maybe triple over the following year, and one day we'll be taking on football.
And briefly, against what possibly the second favourites to win the Challenge Cup, you measure the Broncos against them. Satisfied?
Yes, I mean it was a fun first half. It was a tough first half. I think actually the Broncos were lucky on one or two occasions. But as I say, second half wind in our favour. We'll see how it goes.
Thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the Broncos balloon go up in the second half. They're still within range, 10 points to 2 behind. We'll be right back for live coverage of that second half. But now during the half-time sequence, well, the football headlines: Chelsea 1-up at home to Manchester United, Newcastle ahead at Middlesbrough as well. Details coming up. But other stories around, that surprise at Haydock Park in the big race, the Greenall-Whitley Grand National Trial. Low Stragoni, before the off, was among the favourites for the Grand National. Well beaten, finished last of 5 in a race won by Sunny Bay at 7-2, from Into the Red at 7-1, and St Melian Fairway at 12-1. Coombe Hill now 10-1 favourite in the Grand National betting. Sunny Bay 12-1 from 33s. Low Stragoni has been taken out of the betting, and Encore en Peur, also strongly fancied, runs later, but question marks certainly over Low Stragoni. Now tennis. Tim Henman has today beaten Mark Gellner in the semi-final of the European Community Championship in Antwerp. The British number one won in straight sets, 6-4, 6-4. It means he's through to his third ATP final of the year, and he'll face either Peter Korda or Marc Rosset in the final. We'll have a report on his semi-final performance during the course of Final Score. The first stopping place for us now is Stamford Bridge, Chelsea and Manchester United. Chelsea ahead by 1-0 at half-time in a match being watched by Barry Davis.
And they deserve to be ahead, Steve, save for the usual, dare I say, self-inflicted problems at the back. They've played well throughout the half. Manchester United, by their standards, have played really very poorly. Contrast between Wednesday night is extremely marked. In a very intense atmosphere, at times it seems to me over-aggressive. They really haven't got to their game at all. The goal was beautifully scored by Gianfranco Zola in the second minute. He was put clear on the right. Owen committed himself to the challenge, and inside him came little Zola, and just when everybody was looking to see what he was going to do, he put the ball past the flat-footed Peter Schmeichel between the goalkeeper and the near post. He's played well, Zola, so has Di Matteo, so has Steve Clarke. All the better performances have come from Chelsea. Manchester United have changed the balance of their side twice, but they don't look the side that played at Arsenal, and they're going to need to find that form if they're to get anything out of this one.
Meantime, this is what's happening elsewhere in the Premiership. Goalless between Coventry City and Everton, and a remarkable individual first-half performance from Ian Marshall of Leicester. Leicester City 3, Derby County 1. Derby ahead after just 2 minutes through Dean Sturridge, But then came an Ian Marshall hat-trick with goals in the 7th, the 24th and the 27th minutes. Leicester lead at half-time by 3-1. Goalless at Anfield at half-time. Liverpool 0, Blackburn Rovers 0. And Middlesbrough 0, Newcastle 1 in that big North-East derby. That's a match being watched by John Champion.
And the man they like to call the Archduke in the North-East, Les Ferdinand, has scored the only goal so far. A fearsome rapier-like cross shot after only 9 minutes of a well-contested Tees-Tyne derby. It's the 92nd league meeting between these two famous old North-East clubs. Ferdinand's goal justifying Newcastle's dominance, really, but everyone talking at half-time about an incident concerning Middlesbrough's young goalkeeper Ben Roberts, who tripped Ferdinand shortly after he'd scored the goal, went clean through. He was only booked, there were defenders coming back to cover, and referee Steve Dunn took a controversially lenient view. Should he have gone, or is it right that he stays? Anyway, what's important is that Shearer has been quiet for Newcastle, and the Premiership's most porous defence has leaked again, and that's why the black and whites are in front.
No goals between Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa. Potential surprise at the Dell. Southampton 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Wednesday in 8th, lost only once in the last 90 matches, but goals by Egil Ostenstad and a Matt Le Tissier penalty have put Southampton, bottom but 1 in the Premiership, firmly in control at half-time, leading by 2-0. Goalless between Sunderland and Leeds. That completes the FA Carling Premiership picture, but in Scotland, this is what's happening in the Bell's Scottish Premier Division. Dunfermline 2, Aberdeen 0. Dunfermline goals, 2 just before half-time. The first from Stuart Petrie in the 42nd minute, the second from Jerry Britton right on the stroke of half-time. Plenty of goals between Hearts and Wraith Rovers. Hearts 3, Wraith 2 at half-time. Wraith bottom by 4 points, not having any luck. David Weir, Neil McCann. Neil McCann got 2 of the Hearts goals. David Weir got the other, and they lead 3-2 at half-time. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 1. Kilmarnock ahead through a Maurice Malpass own goal, which came after 3 minutes. Raymond McKinnon equalising for Dundee United right on half-time. Rangers not playing today. They play Hibs tomorrow. So Celtic
back towards his own line, was able to pick it up and actually save the try there, I'm sure.
Good piece of work from that former Queensland Crushers centre. Matt Dunford played in the 4th round against Lancashire Lynx. Oh, and that's a good high long kick from Barwick. Now, it's when I say a good high long kick, well, let me apologise a little, because in actual fact it has only given Bradford a tap on the 20-metre line, but what I think it does do, it shows you the strength of that wind now that Bradford are facing, as Mark Jowett prepares to come on.
Mark Jowett, a very good young player, runs the ball hard and straight, and I think that he was their Alliance Player of the Year last year.
A young signing from the Hunslet Club. Obviously, Broncos coach Tony Curry has told the Londoners to make good advantage of this wind, to put the kicks in. Medley charging in there. It's a good forward battle in the middle here. McNamara out to Robbie Paul. Oh, Paul once again using that faint step inside, trying to go around him. Good from Lowe's to Sonny Nicol. Sonny Nicol, he'll get there. Oh, another good try from Sonny Nicol. He puts 2 fingers up there. 2 fingers up there. His second try. Again, support play. 13 tries for the Bulls. One of the part exchange signings when Paul Newlove went from Bradford to St Helens. Certainly repaid his part. Here is James Lowes.
Yeah, Lowes, he done well to pick up the loose ball off the ground. Sonny Nicol running into a big hole, powerful runner, scores another try next to the post.
2 tries either side of half-time for Sonny Nicol, backing up Lowes. Nowhere really to go, he's held up in the tackle, but the support play of Sonny Nicol, as you said, Steve, power and strength again. Very, very important try for Bradford and Sonny Nicol.
A chance for McNamara. Oh, and it strikes it well, straight between the uprights. No problems now for for McNamara. $16 points to 2 now for Bradford, and really the Londoners with an awful lot of work to do now.
Yeah, you see James Lowe's, he does all the hard work, makes the yardage, straight up the middle. Sonny Nicol running to an enormous hole there, and he can only see the try line. Too much pace for the London players, and scores a great try.
There it is, Warren Jowett, not Mark as we said, and Paul Medley coming off. It's Warren Jowett. Apologies before his mum gets on to me. And there is Paul Medley. Paul Medley's one of the shock troops in this Bradford side, isn't he, Joe?
That's right, they bring him on, they spell him very, very well. He comes on, makes a very big impact. He settled the Bradford team down, actually, when he came on. They resulted in a try. Sonny Little scored his second try, and then they've just taken him off for another spell, another rest on the sideline, but you might see him come back again.
To Barwick.
Give him 10, give him 10.
That's a better kick from Barwick, pushing Bradford. Stewart, Spruce and Cole back to the corners.
And the Bulls substitution was partly tactical, although Paul Medley had been feeling a slight injury to his right leg. I have to say that Paul Medley looked a little bit nonplussed to be taken off and not too keen on the decision, but however it was taken, and Warren Jowett is on in his place.
Glenn Tomlinson launching the youngster Jowett in midfield. Paul Medley not too happy to come off, but then again, no player ever is. But in these days of 4 substitutes and 6 interchanges, it's a tactical game. James Laws, oh, beautiful pass to Peacock. Oh, he's turned inside. Now then, has he got the pace? That looks a forward pass. That is a forward pass. Oh, my word. Danny Peacock looks and wonders what happens, but should he have stayed outside, or did he feel that he hadn't got the pace to go around Martin? I think he would have.
It was a great pass. Surging runs, sprinted onto the ball. Now, if conditioned a little bit firm underfoot, this would have been a try. He stepped inside, lost his footing. Paul Loughlin was in support, but the pass had gone forward.
Yeah, you'll see Danny Peacock. It's the ball's forward, but Bradford Bulls have had 3 or 4 tries disallowed or pulled back now for forward passes or losing the ball. Actually, they could have led by a big score at this stage.
Peter Gill then looking to put some spirit into the Broncos. I think one of the problems, Joe, for the Broncos is that the pack just cannot dominate and cannot make the breaks, can it?
No, and they're always on the back foot, Ray. They can never get set in defence because Bradford just keep coming back at them with strong, harder and faster driving runs.
This is better from the Broncos forwards. On the 5th tackle, Tony Curry looking a very worried man, the former defensive coach at the Brisbane Broncos, done a lot of good work here. Oh, Barwick, look for support! It's a try! Oh, yes! And suddenly, they come back. Scott Roskell in at the corner. The man who scored the hat-trick in round 4 grabs another one. And suddenly, when this game looked to be running Bradford Bulls' way, the London Broncos have hit back, and a good try too.
Great ball from Madison, puts Barwick into a big hole. Now Scott Roskell runs the wrong way. If he stayed outside, he scores in the first place. Barwick still found him inside and scored he scored the try that the Broncos need.
Madison is at the heart of everything that Broncos do well. They're a beautiful pass out, and the inside pass. He looked for his wingman, he's outside on his left, found him on the right, and a great try.
A great try and a goal kick attempt from Barwick. Again, as we said earlier, difficult underfoot, heavy, slippery, but a prolific kicker. Oh, well, you can see that he slipped there as he was going into the kick. It really is very difficult on this side. Obviously, a lot of work in the line-outs with the Harlequins down this left-hand side. We can see the sand. And there he is, the try. Problems there for Stuart Spruce on the knee. conditions like this really are testing on a player's legs, on the knees, on the ligaments, on the ankles. Always a possibility of twisting and turning. Well, Richard Branson will be delighted with those 4 points. And suddenly the London supporters getting behind their team. Perhaps they sense that all is not yet lost as Paul Cook comes on from the substitutes bench for Spruce. Good burst by McDermott, can't get the ball away. The Broncos have got to keep Bradford down here now. Back inside to Bradley. Bradley again to McDermott. Good handling here in these conditions. Oh! Well, a commentator's nightmare. London again. Tollett. And suddenly, this London side come to life. Bradford have a game on their hands. They look to be cruising it. They're not any longer. Good tackle on best there from Nickel. Josh White. Terence. White again. Good pass out wide there to Crouch. He's looking for the wingman to come inside. He can't find him. Little bit of a misunderstanding there between the wing partnership of Krause and Maguire. And he's not so good. I think he's taken a knock to the face. And a sensible kick from the Broncos. Keeps, oh, we can see there a very nasty knock to his eye. That'll be a blood bin for certain.
You'll have a look here. They've had a battle all day, Peacock and Krause. You can't actually see what happens, but I don't think there's much love lost between the two players.
There was, but I think it was an accidental clash of heads, and certainly when Peacock saw that blood on his eye, you know, he was concerned, Steve.
On the bench with the Bulls assistant coach Brian Noble. Brian, these are tense times, 16-6 in front though.
Yeah, we are in front, and we've managed to get that with good control football. The only times we're letting London back into it is when we're perhaps not coming up with the control and selectivity that we need. It's tough, it's tense. We've got to give this team the respect they deserve.
Thanks, Brian.
Robbie Paul making a break down this right-hand side. Bradley looks for support and finds it out there with Paul Cook. Again, another good long pass from Cook to Donoghue. Peacock crashing inside and look to high tackle. Play on, says the referee. Jowett. Good, strong, surging run from the youngster. Bradford replying very, very quickly to Tomlinson. McNamara. Nickel. Back to Tomlinson. Oh! Tomlinson anticipated a Bulls player there. Martin doing well to keep inside. He didn't want to go into touch. He wants to retain this 6-tackle sequence. Back to Barwick. Mestrop, the Bulls pack, moved up a grade now. Matt Dunford, almost an interception. Maguire.
Possession this half, London Broncos 69%, and they're still behind. But if they just settle down, if they can score next, they're going to get themselves back into the game.
Tollett keeping that ball to the Broncos on the 5th tackle. Back to Tollett again. Again, the Broncos playing down that right-hand side, playing for touch, but no, it's touch and goal. Johnson Tollett, born in St Leonard's in Sussex, but went to Australia as a 6-year-old and qualified for the Great Britain side. There we see the strapping above the eye for Krause. Certainly, I don't think Tony Curry will want him to come off, Joe, will he?
No, he's an integral part of their attack and defence. But I think Brian Noble has just summed up really the way this game's going, the assistant coach on the Bradford side. He said the only time that the London Broncos have looked effective and looked dangerous is when Bradford have handed them the ball. It's the handling mistakes, the turnovers that have really cost them dealing, not only in possession but in a few chances to score tries.
It really has become now a war of attrition in this second half. Players beginning to tire, legs beginning to ache. But the draw for the Challenge Cup on Monday, and all of these players want to be in there. And
handling errors there. Bradford 10 mistakes to London 1, and if you look at the percentage where London's had most of the ball.
Well, I'm reminded of Psalm 115. They have hands, but they handle not.
Thank you, Reverend Trent.
It's true. As the Broncos drive in. Beasley worked hard around the play the ball area. Peter Gill on the 5th tackle. Big Barwick, good play there from Barwick. Looks for support, not quite there. Oh, if someone had been close to Barwick, there could have been trouble for the Bradford Bulls. But I think, Joe, myself, I would have tried a high kick and up and under.
Well, it's the mistakes by the hands that are causing the problems. Yes, I think you're right there, Ray. A kick either along the floor or a high kick would have been a better choice.
And down the bench, substitutions could be vital to Bradford Bulls in holding on to this lead. They've been husbanding their resources very carefully. They've got 3 substitutions left. News of Stuart Spruce, their very important fullback who's on the bench. He's injured his right hamstring. It's got an ice pack on it. It has been loosened. It's been eased off by the physiotherapist. And if necessary, Spruce could come back.
Oh, and here's a chance for Krause. A try underneath the post. Oh, we said that Tony Curry would not want this man to come off the field. And he's repaid the confidence in him. Well, he breathes a sigh of relief, does the former Brisbane Broncos player. David Krause, what a game he's had. And suddenly, the London supporters sense that they are in with a chance. 16-10, the conversion to come. The pom-pom girls are alight.
You see here, Graham Bradley pushing a pass there. Now Krause, he certainly deserves points, Krause. He's defended strong, he's had a great game, and it's all about opportunity. They've got an opportunity, they've scored the try. Bradford have had 5 or 6 opportunities and not turned them into points.
And Greg Barwick adds the conversion. And who would have thought that within this second half the London Broncos would have pulled back like that? 16 points to 12.
They were under no danger at all, Bradford. All they had to do was retain possession and work for the kick. Instead, they throw a loose pass, a handling error once more. Krause picks it up on a post to the line, and London Broncos are right back in this game.
We're talking before about Paul Medley as an impact player. I can see him down near the bench. He's itching to get back on. He was having a great game, and since he's gone off, the tide's turned.
Well, 19 minutes remaining. I think everyone's itching to get onto this field now. I mentioned tired legs. They'll be gone. Robbie Paul, Bradford looking for some inspiration from this lad. The Broncos looking to tie him down. But it's Bradford in possession. James Lowes to Bradley. A hard-fought cup tie. 4 points the difference. McNamara. Glenn Tomlinson rushing to the acting half-back position. He wanted to put ball to boot there, and it is a good kick. Again, it keeps the Broncos back in the corners. Scott Roskell. Oh, running across the face of the post. That's bad play. Wingmen should not run across the face of the post. 2 tacklers gone in the sequence. Bradford Bulls moving up quickly. Tollett. A crescendo of noise here now at the Stoop Memorial Ground. Both sets of supporters sensing that this is the vital bit. Oh, just look at that tackle there from the Bradford Bulls pack. And another tackle.
It's taken a standoff to get there and hit the ball up hard and straight. They need more big blokes there, London, if they want to get out of their quarter.
surely the Broncos will put a long kick downfield. They do. Barwick once again being the man putting ball to boot. Paul Cook gone back to that full-back position. Of course, well used to that position. Played there for Leeds and has played there for Bradford.
You see the Broncos, their territory this half, 67%. That's very, very impressive, and that's what's got them right back into the game.
And they certainly are back into the game. We said that the Londoners mean business. But can the Bradford Bulls hold on? They certainly have the pack up front. They have the personalities behind to make the break. There's Jim Lowes. He was looking for support. He just couldn't get that pass to Tomlinson. But it's still Bradford moving forward. Bradley, good long ball out to McNamara. Well held. Back to Tomlinson. Long, low dribble kick. I can't understand, Steve, why neither side are putting a high kick up. The wind is blustery, it's swirling around. It could provide problems for full-backs.
Well, especially Martin being a young player just in, you certainly would have thought one of the teams would have tried some high kicks, but obviously that's not in either coach's game plan.
The Broncos will want to play through this set of six. They'll use the forwards. Matt Dunford there making good ground. Former Manly star there in Sydney. Short pass again to Gill. Gill out wide to Krause.
Certainly shows now that both teams are tired legs. That's not only because of the conditions, but also it's so early in the season, only a few games under the belt. I think now would be an important time to bring a substitute on, possibly somebody like Paul Medley.
Paul Cook making good use there of the wing. John Scales. Rayana, the Kiwi. Well, he'll have been used to playing in ideal conditions there over in Perth in Australia. A little bit different for him here. Paul Cook, good break there by Cook. Oh, thundering run here by Paul Loughlin. Loughlin and a good pass out to Peacock. But just look at the cover there. 3 Broncos men. The levels of fitness in rugby league at the moment. Tremendous. Good pass there to Robbie Paul. Oh, Paul's going in for the crucial one. Well, we said that London Broncos were trying to keep a tight rein on this man. That's easier said than done. He eluded the shackles there. The break from Paul Loughlin set up the opportunity. And the opportunism there of Paul paying off.
The London Broncos have contained Robbie Paul very well, but here's the game breaker. Steps through, uses the referee as a bit of a foil, goes around the back and under the post, and that's probably a try that'll seal this tie and take Bradford through to the 6th round.
Yeah, great play from James Lowes from dummy half. Quick out there. The markers were lazy from London. Robbie Paul backs up, and he's just too quick and too elusive to stop.
And we could see the conditions underfoot proving difficult for the young Broncos fullback Tony Martin, actually attempting to turn and then slipping in the mud. So the perfect riposte from Robbie Paul. As we said earlier, he said he's never lost a game here on the stoop when he's been in the starting lineup. Will he continue that record? Should be a comfortable 2 points from McNamara. It is. The Bradford fans breathe a little easier as they ease out to 22 points to 12. But this cup tie not over by any means.
As soon as Lowes passed that ball to Robbie Paul, the best chance of a tackle would have come from David Campbell, the referee.
Yeah, I think both teams are starting to get a little tired, especially London, I think. I should imagine there's still a few more tries left in this game.
12 minutes remaining and a hectic 12 minutes in prospect. I think when you have a pitch like this, when you have a wind like this, we should see tries. These players will tire rapidly. Matthew Elliott on the left, well, we can see he's the happier of the two.
It's going to take an extra special effort now from the London Broncos just to get back in this game. Bradford have realised they have made mistakes, had opportunities to score and not taking them. But that try from away Paul must surely wake them up to the fact that if they keep all of possession here, run the clock down, they can win this game.
The London kicking game this half's been very poor. They've put a couple of balls in short that haven't worked. The longer kicks, they've gone dead in goal, and Bradford's come back to the 22. I think with the wind behind their back, that part of the game has really let London down in the second half.
Well, I hate to labour a point, Steve, but I would have put ball to air. I would have put some high kicks in.
Well, you know, you could have done anything, Ray, but as I say, they've lacked variation, they've lacked any thought with their kicking game, and that is one ploy. Paul Cook's back there at fullback now. He's on. He just hadn't been on long, so you would have certainly tested him out with a high ball.
Tony Martin there in a spot of bother. Looks like a groin injury. The big Kiwi, Raihana, driving it in. Jowett. It's been a hard, bruising battle. No one has shirked the tackle. Now that is a sensible kick. And as James Lowe says, settle it down. He'll accept the scrum. He'll keep Bradford going forward. 259 tackles here, and we haven't finished the game yet. A big impact.
That was a clever bit of play there, Joe, where just slow the game down a little bit. Bradford's in control, just make the ball go into touch, scrum it down. London's got to work out from their own 10-metre line.
And exactly what you need in cup football, some experience, a calm head. Just put the kick in, run the clock out. Let's keep the London Broncos pinned down in their own half. That's what Bradford are trying to do.
And of course what Bradford realise is that with less than 10 minutes remaining, they know that the Broncos will have to push this ball around. Mistakes might come, or tries might come.
And Tony Martin of the Broncos limped off very painfully, in great pain. He's torn his left groin muscle, so under the blow to the Broncos there. And the man of the match is of Bradford Bulls, James Lowes. Hardly surprising, and probably just clinched it with the assist in Robbie Paul's last try.
Well, I certainly wouldn't disagree with that. James Lowes has been high in the tackling stakes, and he certainly looked very, very impressive around the play the balls. The pass to Tollett. Oh, it's a good chase from Tollett, but Paul Cook is there. Oh, he's lost it. Oh, he just couldn't pick up that ball. Oh, a try was there for the begging. But the Broncos, Roskell, couldn't pick up the ball. But at least it's a handover. A chance again for the Londoners to haul themselves back in this game. They've got an overlap on the outside. Can he get the ball? He's lost it. A try gone begging. A vital handling mistake there. It looked to be Krause on the outside. The hero for Broncos a little earlier. Possibly proving the villain.
You'll have a look here. Quick hands, it was always on. They always had a two-man overlap. Probably their best player, Krause, but he spills the ball under pressure. He's getting tired now, and that's what happens when you get tired under pressure. You make errors.
And let's give credit to Paul Loughlin there. He was sliding across in defence, Steve, and in fact Krause had one eye on him and tried to take him with that left hand.
Yeah, the sliding defence was very good. But I do think that if he had caught the ball, London would have scored a try.
And that try could have spurred the Broncos possibly a little further towards Wembley. Paul Medley back on the field again. James Lowes, the man of the match. That's a good ball out wide. Created some space, but Broncos cover defence moving in very, very quickly. Krause again. Barwick now in the full-back position. He has pace, this lad. He beats those two. Good run there by Barwick. Bradford just wanting to contain London down here. Strength sapping, trying to come away from your own line in 6 tackles. Bradford have the points on the board, 22 points to 12, 7 minutes remaining. Matt Dunford. Josh White. Peter Gill electing to run the ball rather than kick. Oh, and Kraus loses it. Bradford quite content to hold the ball here, quite content to go through the sequence and cramp there for Steve McNamara. Very difficult for him to get up to play that ball. One can expect that in these punishing conditions. Jowett. Good strong tackle there by Peter Gill. Well picked up by Bradley. Oh, and again, Tomlinson coming through. He's got Paul Medley with him. Can he get the ball to Medley, or is he going to go himself? He's got himself. Oh, good, confident run there by the scrum half, Glenn Tomlinson. He had Paul Medley on his outside. He didn't need him. Put his head back. He went for the line, and it's 26-12 for the Bulls.
Steve Sims is exactly right. There were more tries to come in this dying minutes of this game. Great pass there again from Laws. He's done everything right. And once that man's got the ball in his hands now, he's got Medley in support, doesn't need him, gets to the line.
Medley does great work here. Tomlinson, he makes the break. Now Medley gets in between the defender and Tomlinson and just gives him a little bit of hand now. I think Tomlinson would have scored anyway, but Medley done superb work.
Yeah, it's not obstruction. You don't have to get out of the way. It was supporting his player, but as you said, Stevie, cleverly placed his body, his angle of run, just to block off and make it harder for the Broncos defenders to get to him.
And I'm sure Steve McNamara will willingly accept his 4th goal from 6 attempts. And he does. The perfect strike, just at the right time when the Broncos are tiring. And the Bradford Bulls edge a little nearer to a second successive Wembley appearance. 4 minutes remaining, 28 points to 12 for the Bulls.
Yeah, that's into a big hole there, Tomlinson. You'll see Medley straight in. He doesn't have to get out of Tolson Tollett's way. He doesn't do that. Gives Tomlinson that little bit of extra yard, and he scores a try.
Well, he looks gloomy, he looks glum, but I'm sure inside Matthew Elliott will be delighted. Tony Curry, the Broncos man in charge, not so. Certainly that extra weight that we talked about in the early stages of these games has certainly been apparent in the final quarter. Talents. Oh, rather silly there from John Scales. No need for that. The tackle was made. It was a good tackle. It was a good run from Tollett. No need for the interference once the tackle had been made. Good, strong, firm decision there from referee Campbell.
Yeah, the break was made here, the tackle was completed, and then he decided to go on with him. There's no need for it, really, not in the later stages of a cup tie like this.
"17 years in rugby league, the London Broncos yet to make the quarter-finals, and it looks as if that's going to stretch to 18 years. But in the last 12 months, they've made tremendous progress. 4th, as we said, in the Super League last season, and I'm sure they'll be a very, very strong contenders again this coming season. A good, strong, young amateur backup, an academy side, an under-16 school side here in London. And many of those players, I'm sure, will be coming through in the next 12 to 18 months. But it's a late surge here from the Broncos on the 5th tackle. Terry Mattison puts the ball inside. Still Mattison. Picked up by Scales, can't get away.
Bradford just grinding the clock down now, just watching the clock tick by. They know that they're through into the draw for the next round. All they have to do is just, as I say, let the clock tick away this cup ties berth.
The Bulls on the attack again. Oh, and it looks like Tomlinson going away again down that left-hand side. Paul Cook, tremendous run. Paul Cook down that left-hand side there from the fullback position. The former Leeds man, number 7. He has played on the wing earlier this season. Well, not even a smile there from Matthew Elliott. He set off reminiscent of Tomlinson, but no, it's certainly Paul Cook with a sidestep like that. The number 7 all the way. He puts his head back. He has the pace. He has the determination, and he gets there.
Yeah, you'll have a look when the body starts getting tired, the legs getting tired, you just can't get there. A quick play the ball, and Paul Cook, fresh player, he's just got too much pace for Tolson Tollett. The tries in vain. It was a great effort from Tolson Tollett. He never give up once the chase.
As you said, Steve, fresh legs off the bench. Cook, awful lot of speed himself, and once that play the ball was done fast and the markers weren't straight, stood upright, he had the chance to sprint to the corner.
I think Steve McNamara, for his own personal satisfaction, will want to put this ball over the crossbar, but the 2 points really immaterial to Bradford's progress. It's a good kick though. It's a magnificent kick from the touchline. In conditions like this, he puts his hands in the air. Another 2 points from the conversion. And the Bulls maintain their unbeaten record in the Challenge Cup against London. 4 visits to the capital in 14 years, and their 4th win. Still on target for a return to Wembley and a chance to go one better than their runners-up position last year. There's been a lot of pressure on the coach, Matthew Elliott, this week, but he can relax tomorrow when the other 7 teams are playing, 7 ties are being played. The Bulls are in the bag for the quarter-final draw on Monday. It was tries from that man there, Tomlinson, effort from the subs like Warren Jowett, and above all from the big men up front like McDermott. Paul Medley played his way, coming in off the bench, but all credit to that man there, David Krause, the Broncos. He possibly knows that drop pass in the final stages cost the Broncos their last chance. But Robbie Paul, possibly thinks he's on his way back to Wembley. The Broncos just appreciating the support from this big crowd here at the Stoop Memorial Ground. I think the Broncos' time will come. They're a new side in rugby league. They're making their way.
Man of the match, James Lowes. James, a decisive win in the end, but I mean, until 5 minutes to go, it was anybody's game, really.
Yeah, we come down here, we expected this sort of game, but we knew if we stuck to his guns and stuck to his game plan, we'd score plenty of points towards the end, and it paid off for us. We worked hard early doors, we soaked up a lot of pressure, and we come away with the points.
If there was a clincher, was it Robbie Paul's try?
I think so, yeah. I think every try's a clincher. When they had so much pressure as well, you know, there was quite a lot of percentage down in our half, but we worked hard, and every try's a clincher when you got that much pressure on you.
Just a word about fitness. It looked to some people in the first half as though the Broncos were slightly fitter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they had plenty of pressure. You know, we kept losing a lot of ball, and that don't help when you're tackling all the time. And you know, if you got the ball, you seem to be a lot fresher and a lot fitter. But like I say, we dug in, and as fitness played off really, because we scored all the points at the end.
Congratulations, James. Thanks very much. And Robbie Paul, we're on familiar territory, Robbie. Have you got the taste for Wembley again?
Oh, of course. You know, I've had it ever since last Wembley. This is the first step in what should be a good start to a season.